She is live. Hello there. See, here's our
Hello,
creator,
Danny.
co-creator of Niobe. She is life and the Untamed. And what's going on? Oh, ooh, I can hear my voice over there in the corner. Looks like we're going live on the interwebs. Watch this. I'm gonna go over there and you sit here, right there, Hannah.
Okay.
Say everybody. See everybody right there. Say hi to everybody. I'm gonna fix that.
Okay.
What?
Once again.
What? Why am I the worst? Why am I the worst? We're hearing an echo chamber in here that you are not hearing. So I'm gonna go turn that down. Okay.
It's all good.
Are you sure? Okay. All right.
I can
We just
hear
did.
you.
It looks like the people back in the pay no attention to that little man behind the curtain. That's actually something of a phenomenon that we do every day around here at this
I
studio.
want to sit here. I've got tons of room here.
Yeah,
Sure.
tons of
I'll
room.
just slide on over.
Oh, hey, look, it's
There we go.
it's
There we go.
Hey!
it's Hannah joining us here, our other
Yes.
special guest on Tour on Tuesday.
Yes.
I guess I'm just going to have to tolerate the sound of our own echo in the background because
You
I'm
sound very English in the echo.
I don't know why. It's the sound of those tiny computer speakers.
you do.
Right?
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm practicing to do a Gandalf wedding that I have coming up in about
Really?
11 days. Yeah, I just
Are
got
you
hired.
wearing a fake beard?
I'll be wearing a full Gandalf wig, makeup, beard,
The eyebrows?
the whole thing.
You gotta get
Yes.
those.
Fool of a took! I'm going to tell the groom. As soon as he says I do, I'm going to scream at him and say, throw yourself in next time and rid us of your stupidity. And we'll see if we can
Dang.
embarrass him in front of his bride. No, literally, I'm doing a whole Gandalf ceremony coming up in about 11 days, and it's really going to be fun. It's really fun.
It sounds amazing.
You guys didn't know that, but I'm an officiant. I
sounds
do weddings on the
love
Yeah,
side.
and
I
you're doing
did
my
one.
wedding. You
I w-
are.
I will do your
Yes.
wedding. I
Are
promise.
you, is it going to be a cosplay wedding?
I don't know.
Are you going to
yet.
be a hobbit?
Maybe, I don't know.
Right?
Quite possibly.
I mean, why not?
That'd be cool.
Sebastian, tell me about this wedding, real quick.
Oh,
What you
just
did.
some friends of mine were getting married. This about a decade ago, and they said, "Would you marry us?"
Okay.
And so they paid for me to become a minister. And
Yes.
They saw the true kind of spiritual, religious phenomena within, and next thing you know, oh, Bob's your uncle. I'm a minister.
Manamana.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
I was the Muppet minister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Muppet minister.
The Muppet Minister. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Of all London town.
I love it. You guys are. This is awesome. Okay.
Oh, we have
Facebook.
Australia with
Facebook
us.
appears to be live. We have Instagram going live, and Ustream is going live. Let's say hello to our extended world audience. There's Kay.
Is that book?
There's
Okay.
Jeff Scott. Oh, there you go, Jeff Scott. There's our buddy in New Zealand. There's Jean Bourgeois. There's Caroline Bradley. And on the other Ustream chat, I see Marfel's Spirited Book. Hello. Kaiten
Book.
Suji. And there's one of our favorite people, Ellen Design. Hello, Ellen. We love you, Ellen. And down there, Instagram land, people from around the world. Yeah, it's paused? No, it's not paused.
No, it's
No,
it's
we're
live.
actually live.
It's live.
Wow, so we're doubling up YouTube and
We have so
Instagram.
many cameras, so many
Wow.
streams, and the nature of the show is to encourage the entire worldwide audience to join us.
Right.
Bring your questions, your comments live. We are on the interwebs, bringing you all the goodness from the land of Tolkien, fans of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and J.R.R. Tolkien.
Pause to poor connection.
Yeah, and then we're actually going to talk about Baron and Luthien, which is coming out in bookstores, I believe, tomorrow.
Yes.
Really? Is tomorrow the date?
Yeah.
Okay. We've been talking about this for quite a long time. We're going to get the major news stories out of the way before we go and talk with our guests about our special things that we're going to do. So this is an exciting level of a fan buzz and craziness that hasn't really happened since 1977 when the Silmarillion was published. And all these hippies, all these college kids in the late 70s were like, whoa, holy cow, finally, the Silmarillion. It was the first time we'd gotten our hands on stuff like that. Something outside of the box of the familiar, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
And the Silmarillion took everything that was hinted at in the appendix in the back of Return of the King and blew the lid open. And we realized the world building
Yes.
and the skills that were required, the consummate skills, for someone like Professor Tolkien to take time out of his life as an academic and taking care of all the students and his family and to just build this world. And then our eyes were opened. And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, our eyes are about to be opened again. This is a comparable
Yet
circumstance.
once more.
The Beren and Luthien story finally expanded and revised to its complete form thanks to Christopher Tolkien.
Sure.
God bless him. You know, he's still with us, guarding the gate. He's the great gatekeeper. He's kind of like, you know, the great Smaug sitting on the gold pile. On the gold pile, under the mountain. I make this loose analogy. I'm playing. Sorry. But no, really. I mean, this is amazing that on the 100th anniversary of the first time that Tolkien wrote down the elements of these stories for Beren and Luthien, his ultimate romantic pledge to his wife, how much he loved Edith. And here it comes out. Beren and Luthien, out in bookstores tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've already pre-ordered your copies.
Do you think that could be a coincidence, or it was planned?
It is planned. The publishers needed the event. The publishers are more than glad to make this an event, you know, for fans. It's not just like, oh yeah, you know, toss off another
Right.
book every few months.
Yeah.
Right.
This is something that they're really, really pushing up because, you know, Professor Tolkien, might I remind you, left this planet and shed his mortal coil in 1973, a long time ago. I was barely 4 years old, barely, and I didn't know what I was missing. You were barely.
I was born the same year, so I kind of like to think, you know, as he passed, I entered.
Like-
Ooh, that's deep.
Right.
It could
Just
be
like,
so.
Just like Bruce Lee as well.
Like-
you know, take the spiritual with the martial.
Like the
That's-
the reincarnation of the next Dalai Lama.
I'd like to, you know.
Oh my God.
I have the same birthday
My
as Jack
mind is
Kirby
just-
too.
Oh, okay.
You know, just throw
Well,
throw
all right,
more in
all right.
there, you know.
Well, I was born on the same birthday as Paul Revere and
Ooh.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Wow.
And since both of them are heroes to me, I can't
Wow.
choose which one I like better.
There we go.
Really, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, I can top that. I was born on the same day as Kevin Bacon.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's right.
Massive Kevin Bacon
Yeah.
degree, 1 degree.
That's right.
That's-
I see you, Ryan Hamilton.
Yeah.
I see you, Ryan, in the chat room. Yes, sir.
I think Hannah wins.
Hannah
I
wins.
win. I win.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that is hilarious. Okay, look. All right. Seriously, the Tale of Beren and Luthien, revised and rewritten and expanded with all these notes from Professor Tolkien's son, Christopher Tolkien, who's been the great keeper of the notes, the great keeper of the manuscripts, and painstakingly reassembled from faded pieces of paper that have turned brown and are crumbling apart, and his father's got this spidery thin scribble. Do you know why Frodo's handwriting is described as being thin and spidery that way? Because, you know, Professor Tolkien was making a joke at himself.
Oh, wow.
At the way he writes his notes. And, you know, this impossible task of taking dirty, old, moth-eaten boxes of faded manuscripts and Christopher Tolkien and his magnifying glass, putting that shit together and making sense of it. So that's why we're all looking forward to this. It is
Kudos to him.
yeah, it's an amazing job, and I'm going to be the first person in line at the bookstore tomorrow. Gosh, it's like, you know, midnight record sale at Tower Records.
Right, I remember.
You know,
Yeah.
remember the midnight record sale at
I do.
Tower?
Yeah.
Oh, when
You're camping out.
you always
Yeah.
go there
Yeah.
because the record industry, they're not allowed to sell the album on Monday. They sell it on Tuesday. So at Monday night at midnight was the big sale.
It was a big move.
So whenever there was a new
there you go.
Prince album or a new crazy record we had to get our hands on, all the kids would line up at the midnight sale at Tower.
Hall
Those are
H.
the days. Hall H,
Yeah, there you go.
right?
That was supposed to be a sleeping bag.
All right.
Yeah.
Now to the business at hand, ladies and gentlemen. I want to remind you all that if you want to talk with our friends, Hannah, and our very special guest star, Sebastian Jones, you can find us right here live on many different platforms, Twitter, Ustream, and I believe we're on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And
Instagram.
heavens to Murgatroyd.
It's
And a,
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
positive.
and a struggling
connection.
Instagram.
Exit. Stage left. Sorry.
So good.
That's okay.
I'm doing a little Snagglepuss,
like that.
Hanna-Barbera throwback. You guys, wake up. It's Clifford here, and this is Torn Tuesday, and you see that phone number floating over my head? That's our hotline. If you want to Skype, we're going to take Skype calls, and we'll take all of your calls and comments on the hotline 530-64-FRODO. For Frodo. All right? 530.
Each show.
Number 6.
Each show.
Each show, number 6. All right, it's 530 area code. Number, you made me forget the number. 64FRODO. Dial in. We'll take your text and we'll take your calls. Okay, Sebastian Jones.
Hello, sir.
Since last we chewed the fat
Yes.
on this show, tasty.
Tasty.
Right, meat off the bone. I never knew what Gimli meant by that, because since when is meat ripe? And since when is ripe meat appealing or appetizing? I never understood that line.
Cannibals.
Sean Bean? Sean Bean's going to be on the menu soon, since we're talking about ripe meat off the bone.
No. Cannibalism is not tolerated here. We're a family show.
We are, at least for the next few minutes. But believe it or not, hey everybody. Hi Jeff. Hi Diane. You guys are fabulous. Fabulous. It's good to have you on the show. How have you been, sir? You've been busy.
Good.
And you're in the middle of launching a really active and successful Kickstarter campaign for your publication, Niobe.
Yes.
Tell us the good stuff.
Well, we funded in only a few days, so people seem to be pretty.
What happens when that
rabid.
happens? You realize your fans are backing you up.
Yes.
You realize the audience has your back.
I do. Yeah, I'm very, very honored and very thrilled to see the kind of the reaction to our book Niobe She Is Life.
Here it is. Let's show you.
Ooh, Oz.
Would you be my Vanna White, dear? Thank you.
Oh, I like that. That's very good.
And
So-
if you hold it real still, Justin will zoom the camera in right
there
here.
we go.
Come on in, Justin. Show us this beautiful.
Let me move
Roll
my
that beautiful
fingers
bean footage.
Out of the way.
There you go.
go.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, a little bit down. There you go. Perfect. And yes, sir.
Oh, there it is, right over
There it is,
I'm
there it is. That's on our
so
main
many
camera.
different things out here in Hollywood. Ah,
5,000 screens.
It took a few
my-
days. You're fully funded.
look at that. I can like stroke her hair. or
Yes, you can.
all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, Niobe She Is Life. If you guys are video game players out there, if you know the video game The Last of Us or Uncharted 4, one of the lead designers for that video game actually illustrated that cover for us.
Gorgeous.
So thank you. And that is Amanda Stenberg. So for fans that have seen The Hunger Games, you remember Rue in The Hunger Games. She and
Of course, we love Rue.
that moment you were crying your eyes out, your heart was, thrown onto the floor, and
And then we meet her family in the second film, and all the tears for Rue come back again. And the memory of Amanda is all over that second film, even though she's not in it. You remember that? It's like, and he recreates that artwork of her. Oh, to hell! I'm telling you.
It's okay. I've
I'm
only
telling
seen
you.
it like once.
I saw the first one.
And of course, Amanda Stenberg is in the top 5 of the box office right now with her new theatrical feature, Everything Everything, which is right in the top 5 of the biggest movies in America right now.
Yeah.
So she's the toast of the town again.
She,
Can you talk like at 50% volume?
I can try.
Don't go quiet like
Show the
me.
Kickstarter page.
do you want to show the Kickstarter page? Okay, awesome. So there we go.
there it
There is the Niobe She Is Life hardcover, and we're actually coming out with the sequel, Niobe She Is Death. In the future, we'll have Niobe She Is Spirit, and then Niobe She Is God. And Niobe She Is Life, guys, is kind of a Beauty and the Beast love story threaded with murder and mystery that leads to all-out war about a young girl returning to her ancestors to find her faith. And what she finds is a lot more than what she bargained for. And so Niobe She Is Life is kind of a spiritual journey, a coming-of-age romance story. And in the sequel, She Is Death, it's kind of time to armor up, and it kind of reflects Amanda's own journey as she's become a little older. And Niobe She Is Death, she becomes kind of a badass bounty hunter hunting down sex traffickers and slave traders across the realm of Asunder.
Making the real bad guys really pay
Yes,
the
exactly.
price.
It's kind of like the A-Team. If you can find her,
A-Team?
maybe you can find her. Maybe you can get her to bring back your daughter safe. But really, it's kind of a reflection of a lot of girls who've been getting kidnapped, not only in America but of course around the world, from stuff in America to Boko Haram and so on. And without sounding all preachy, it's our plant a seed. And that's kind of what I try and do at Stranger Comics with our fantasy books, is hopefully create viscerally, emotionally connective material within a simple, elegant framework, but then also plant seeds for what's going on today.
Excellent. Now, to
Text message.
yes, we do have a text message, but to further establish the connection between our
Thank you,
world,
Carolyn.
our world here for Lord of the Rings fans, is already directly connected to the world of Asunda. Just to give you guys some quick editorial context, we love having look at this beautiful artwork.
So the artwork,
we're showing now.
The artwork that you're seeing now, guys, is illustrated by Ashley A. Woods on Daryl May's concepts.
Goals.
And Ashley and Amanda, like, there's a great page there that's coming up on the right. If you keep scrolling down, there, stop right there. You'll see the Goddess of Healing and Light on the right. And as Niobe's falling down into the waterfall, she kind of looks like the Messiah. Keep scrolling. You'll see at the bottom of that one image is the hand of the devil as she plummets into the water. And that hand is also seen on the cover of the Untamed. You see that hand right there, guys? So she plummets into the water. You'll find out that the hand of the devil is always after her. And it's a kind of a theme within my fantasy world.
Seen quite vividly on one of my favorite covers.
Thank you.
The Untamed #1, where you see the devil's hand reaching down, and it actually becomes the silhouette of our hero, or anti-hero, depending upon your points of view.
Absolutely.
Are quite mutable in this world.
And Niobe's introduction story is in this book, The Untamed, which is lovingly painted by Peter Bergting, who in Sweden actually paints all the covers for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yes, indeed.
So we have some great tie-ins there.
And the original connection that we always love to mention is that Mr. Sean Bean has at least been somewhat loosely associated with...
so Sean Bean, our beloved, we got him right there.
Right there, there it is. Show everyone at home.
Oh,
You guys can see this?
There he is. We bring him back from the dead in The Untamed.
Yes, you do.
And we did a little animation deal with Film Roman, who do The Simpsons, and Sean is playing the voice of the hero in The Untamed. And Niobe becomes kind of this man's hope for redemption and salvation.
It is amazing how his subtle connections to her in this volume suddenly changed the course of what was going to be a really bad Faustian deal for him.
Right.
I really love that. And she's not even there deliberately trying to do anything, and yet she profoundly changes his life just by her very nature, just by osmosis of being around him.
Yes.
This is something
just by being born.
Yeah, just by being born. Now, there's a grace there that writing about her character and her purpose in this world.
Right.
That's what I love about this character.
Thank you.
And there's an amazing bit of fandom crossover with The Hunger Games and The Lord of the Rings, all blended right here in the fantasy world, published by Stranger Comics and created and co-written with Amandla for Niobe. For Niobe, working with Amandla on that beautiful book.
And the crazy thing about Niobe, guys, is it's the first ever nationally distributed comic book with a black female author, artist, and hero in the history of all comics.
That is so significant,
Which is, when you think about it, it's kind of crazy.
Good.
So, Marvel and DC, one of those companies had never hired a black female author in their history, and the other one had hired 2 in their history. So we're the first to put the whole thing together.
It is amazing to me what representation means.
Right.
And why we're even having conversations about what representation means.
Right.
Have you seen the people widely circulating these images of the little girls looking up at Gal Gadot?
Yes,
beautiful. The little tiny 3-year-old little girls in their cute little store-bought Wonder Woman costume, looking up and in some cases having met Gal Gadot in person. And someone tweeted a picture of this little girl looking up at that poster saying, "Isn't this what it's all about?" And I'm a big follower of Black Nerd Girls and their blogs on their website.
They did an interview on me a couple of weeks ago.
I love them.
Yeah,
they're great. I follow them on Twitter.
Sure.
And you guys should follow Black Nerd Girls. They run a great community for people of color and women of color especially, who are finding amazing new levels of their interests being addressed.
Absolutely.
It is amazing how this group of fandom is now having they're being made. You know, people are getting
Voices
more and more woke
Yeah.
every day.
It's interesting. I just wanted to piggyback off of because what we were talking about. What about a week ago? like how women are coming more and more. Like, you know, I'm a director, and I'm in.
Yes.
I guess you could say illustrator, but more cartoonist. But,
Yes.
You know, whatever.
So here's the director of Monster, Patty Jenkins. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Patty Jenkins, female director. Boy, that sounds weird. Having just watched this really cool show on FX, Feud, about the feud between Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, there's one side character who dares, back in the 60s, dares to raise her head and say, I have a script. I want to direct.
Right.
And the way that everybody at Warner Brothers just laughs at her.
Right.
The way that the people around her scoff at her, because how could a woman be a director? You know, that attitude that was so entrenched 45, 50 years ago. And now here we are with a book, a new and beautiful fantasy world that is co-written and created with people of color, with a girl of color,
Yep.
leading character, a beautiful black girl. This is so amazing. The world we're living in is just so amazing now.
Thank
The things are really moving upwards. And it comes
What
down
about that text message?
it comes down to publishers like you.
Marfels is leaving. Bye, Marfels.
Marfels, we love you, Marfels. Don't leave.
Ciao.
Hey, Marfels, stick around next time for cocktail hour. We'll have appetizers too. Okay, stay a little longer, Marfels. We love you, having you on the show. But I mean, it takes creators like you who are willing to take that risk.
Yeah, I mean,
do this.
it's been pretty amazing, honestly. You know, when folks come to our booth at comic conventions, I just got back from Phoenix Comic Con, and sometimes girls coming up screaming, crying, just elated to see themselves being represented. And now we have girls dressing up as our heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you can, Justin, but if you go on the Stranger Comics Instagram page, you can see there's a couple of images there where we have a couple of cosplayers now. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that was the picture. We've got a text message from the hotline. Thank you guys for coming in and chatting with us. The people at Naughty Dog are amazing, says our unidentified chatter. It says Uncharted 4 is my favorite game ever. I am now interested.
That's great. Thank you so much.
That's
Yeah,
really,
well,
really good.
Hyung does, the artist that did that cover does a lot of special edition covers, actually some of the reward covers on our Kickstarter for Niobe, She Is Life and She Is Death. So you can get exclusive stuff from that artist alone, as well as Jay Lee. Jay Lee is doing a new fairy tale project with us, which we'll show you guys. There it is, Faye. We announced that at Phoenix Comic Con. Jay Lee is known for
That's great.
doing The Dark Tower
Yeah.
with Stephen King,
Yeah.
and what else? Batman v Superman, Wolverine, and Humans. And we have the honor of having his first creator-owned book in, 22 years by doing this fairy tale project. And that is Faye. That's just the first glimpse, the first colored sketch. His wife does all the coloring. It's a beautiful team.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And what's really fun about this Kickstarter also, guys, is, Justin, you want to show one of those images? There's another Jay Lee. You can get that image right there. That's Niobe.
Oh, now this has inspired some of the cosplayers who have approached you.
This is Niobe, She Is Death. And if you see what's on her face,
Wow.
Justin, can you zoom in on that? You'll see that symbol of Arnumenel, the goddess of healing and light, which is tattooed on her back, is painted on her face, and she is death. And then what we have,
Oh my gosh.
crazy, right?
Isn't that beautiful?
So, and if you want to show the other image, Justin, of the Jay Lee, where she kind of looks like a bit of a badass Jedi. There's Sheldon Mitchell's take on it. There we go. Check that out. And you'll see, Clifford, you recognize the sword she's holding in her left hand?
Oh, yes.
So there's Niobe. She looks like a Jedi, right? All kind
Yes.
of cool. So one of the rewards, guys, is Jay Lee will draw you as a severed head on one of those spikes as a Kickstarter reward. And so you'll be immortalized by
that's
Jay Lee
great.
Oh, that
as
is
one of the rewards.
so great.
And then keep scrolling on that image, Justin. I want to show Clifford the sword. He'll recognize. Scroll down.
Oh, that reminds me of Michonne.
There you go. See,
Like
you
that
see that?
stance.
See that sword? There it is. That's the Stranger's sword from the Untamed.
Oh, that is the Stranger's sword.
So you guys who've picked up the Untamed and Niobe will be able to kind of start to piece some of the world together.
Oh, I love it. I love these interconnected stories. Hello, Instagram, welcome back. We apologize.
Hey guys.
Instagram, the video stopped, so we restarted it. We came back. Good to have you, all you folks from around the world, back on Torn Tuesday. Yeah, this is really, really cool. Does that sword have a name?
It does. You will like this name. Shemlock Ja Usul Ulk.
Whoa, cool. Shemlock.
Ja
Ja
Usul
Usul
Ulk.
Ulk.
Yep.
That's a $5 name right there. Or no, $100. I'm giving it $100 name. Yeah.
Wow.
So Shemlock Ja Usul Ulk means soul.
Yes.
Shemlock means soul in my world.
Did I find... Is that in here?
It is.
Is it in the... Then I did bump into that
I'll
language.
show you. Right.
Show me. Oh, yes.
It's the first time you see it.
Oh, that's it.
The language and the linguistics behind that name and Niobe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, world building is an in-depth conversation we've
Yes.
had on a previous episode of the OneRing.net Tuesday with our friend Sebastian, because he's the guy in the captain's seat responsible for this world building. And there's a lot under that umbrella. A
Right,
lot.
yeah.
Including linguistics, which was Tolkien's specialty.
Yeah.
So tell us about your approach to
Boy, oh
that.
boy.
Look at this. See, this is the carving that the dwarf swordsmith finds, and he
Yes.
does indeed name it the Soul of Ice.
Yes.
Shemlock Ja Usul Ulk.
Yes.
So now, out of curiosity, sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay.
With the lettering right here,
Yes.
is this all original or
Yes.
was this inspired?
No,
by-
it's all original.
All original. Let's show the folks at home. Let's show the folks at home how cool this is with this beautiful sword that we were just pointing out in that other artwork. Check this out, Justin. Can we get it? There you go. See that?
So Shemlock Ja Usul Ulk means soul of hard water.
Hard water.
So the origins of that language, what I felt was how people would translate ice would be water that had been frozen that was hard.
Yes.
So Usul is water, Ulk is hard.
Yes. Oh, cool. Very cool. And
That's cool.
coming from a D&D background,
Yes.
coming from a gamer's background,
Hardcore.
you found yourself inspired by Tolkien at some
Big
level
time.
to go for languages?
Absolutely, in a huge way.
Ah, love it.
I mean, I'm just nowhere near in that level of genius of coming up with the languages. But for me, I wanted an original language and then one that was spiritual and one was magical.
Yeah.
So one was faith-based, one was essence-based. And so I think I was always, I don't know, inspired, of course, by your, by the professor, as well as by playing an inordinate amount of live-action role-playing and Dungeons and Dragons, right? And also just my own inner conflicts between my faith, spirituality, and the make-believe of, and what is make-believe, and so on. So, so I think, and not just, and being also somewhat of mixed background, not just something that is just Eurocentric, something that was more kind of a global kind of look at world culture to pour my soul into,
Indeed. Live on the hotline, it says, "Can you comment on the spelling of Niobe? Niobe. Is there any significance to how it is spelled? The normal spelling is Niobe, Naiobe. I think." Have you encountered any of the names you created
I have.
in the natural world?
Do you know what's funny is over a couple of times recently at conventions,
Yes.
I've had at least 2 girls come up to the booth saying, "That's my name," and some have been in different spelling incarnations of the name. I think it's actually three girls.
Really?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Really cool. There's a lesser-known Greek goddess with the name Niobe. And it's funny, I was always very moved by female names that began with the letter N, Naima, Niobe, since I was a boy. So since I was so Niobe's been in my heart for 30 years since I've been creating this world. And I think when I was a little boy growing up as a young teenager in the village I grew up in England, I think I romanticized about creating someone that, kind of like the weeping Buddha, someone that could take all my pains and fears and sufferings and that's I think the origins of how Niobe came about being.
Kind of like a healer.
Yeah,
Okay.
because she is a healer, but also conflicted because she is mixed. She's half elven, half human.
Mm-hmm.
Her father is maybe the devil. And Mum is Galamrin, wild elven queen, and her father's actually the human king. But it is said the devil was in him when he took her.
Oh my.
So there's a lot of spiritual little tones, and so she will find, one thing that I try to do with this character, and with a lot of the characters I do, is play on those honest themes that if you're a teenager or you're just a young person, or anyone that's just struggling with your own identity, just getting in the way of your own shadow,
Yeah.
and then plant those seeds, but then within fantasy you can just bold them and underline them within this kind of conflicted character.
Indeed.
So that's a glimpse into Niobe Shear's life. There's a whole lot more to it.
Captain Suji says, "Cool. What village in England?"
I grew up in Tadworth and Woolton on the Hill. On the Hill.
Really, Woolton on the Hill?
Just for you,
Is it
Cliff.
hyphenated like
Yes,
that?
it is,
That
yeah.
is so bloody British. That is so bloody. Woolton on the Hill with all
Yes.
those hyphens.
A lot of hyphens.
Gosh, that is so. It's
You're all fangirling.
no, but I mean, Tolkien thought that was funny too, and he called it Hobbiton on the Water.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
remember Hobbiton on the Water with all those hyphens?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
There's a rural English
Yes.
pattern of naming that Tolkien was very enamored with, and he thought it was funny. So the Shire has all these elements of that. you know?
Yes, it's super charming stuff. Actually, where I lived, there was a small, little forest where I would go and live action role play as a boy. And
Oh, really?
pond. Yeah, I would just totally immerse myself in all that stuff. And so I think, world building at that age was naive, but exploratory. And as I got older, I think I wanted to tell. I could never. There are so many amazing novelists who create such incredible worlds and such massive scope that my approach to telling these stories were kind of more of not necessarily myopic, but claustrophobic stories. So moments in time that were relatable. So if Niobe is that Beauty and the Beast love story, it takes place in one town. The Untamed takes place in one town.
In one town, yes.
So
with mentions of other important locations in the world.
So you can go off and explore the world.
Yes.
But it's not before I, blow my wad and go, all right, we're off to save the entire universe, and we're off on one giant quest. I want people to fall in love with these characters.
Yes.
Based on who they are and have some kind of visceral, honest, emotional connection to them, and then it doesn't matter what backdrop we're in.
Right.
It just happens to be this world, but once you fall in love with the characters, you want to know more about the world they inhabit. And so that was my reverse engineering, I think, of introducing you guys to a new fantasy world with 30 years of development.
30 years of development, indeed. Now, this soft cover of Niobe Shear's life collects the first 5 or the first 6 issues? The first 4.
Yeah, so the Untamed has the Untamed A Sinner's Prayer has 7 issues, because it's a story of a man who's stuck in purgatory. And after 10 years, the devil says, I will give you 7 days